From the Bhagavad Gita, it seems clear that Krishna likes when devotees are merciful to those who may not yet be fixed in the practice of bhakti yoga. Prabhupada very often would quote from the very end of the Bhagavad Gita about the blessings of the Bhagavad Gita, verses 68 and 69. So in 69, chapter 18, Krishna says, there is no servant in this world more dear to me than he, nor will there ever be one more dear. So he is explained in the previous verse, the one who explains the secret of bhakti yoga, of pure bhakti. And in verse 70, Krishna says, Adyeshyate chaya imam dharmyam samvadam avayo jnanaya jnanatenaham ishtasyam iti memata. And I declare that he who studies this sacred conversation of ours worships me by his intelligence. So just a person who adhyeshyate studies, that's one translation, reads, that's another translation, and reads without even understanding, that's a third translation, commentary from one very famous commentator in Gudarta Dipika. So Prabhupada would often quote this to encourage devotees for preaching. And there is one very famous half quote, if you want to please me, then distribute my books. Of course, that's a half quote because there is a second half where Prabhupada continues and preach. So this book distribution, Srila Prabhupada considered very important because if you have a solid book at home, then it's always there to talk to you. And there are so many stories, so many amazing stories when a person experienced something in their life and then they would come back to the book even after 15 years of buying the book. So Srila Prabhupada, and also Srila Prabhupada's books are written in such a way that you cannot find a page in his books where it doesn't speak about bhakti. In other, like if you take just the Gita without the commentaries, you can find verses which seem to be speaking about behavior, liberation, some other things. But if you take it with Prabhupada's commentaries, in all of his books, that's Prabhupada's unique talent, he knows that our attention span is very small. You can hardly find any page where Krishna and Krishna Bhakti is not mentioned. So and there is no book where Prabhupada doesn't speak about Vrindavan and Radharani. Vrindavan or Radharani of Raja Bhakti. So that's a great welfare activity for the whole world to distribute Srila Prabhupada's books. And all Prabhupada's books include Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. I remember my first book was Ishopanishad, and in every purport Prabhupada says, just like Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita. And I thought, I should get this Bhagavad Gita. It looks like an important book. And then I read Bhagavad Gita, and Prabhupada says, just like Srimad Bhagavatam says. And I thought, I should get this Srimad Bhagavatam. It looks like some interesting, important book. So Prabhupada includes all these jewels in all of his books. In the smallest book, everything is there. And in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami and Srila Prabhupada, they emphasize that a real devotee is not somebody who is an official, formal devotee only, who accepts Krishna only in some formal, official way, as Kanishta Adhikari, in some only official place, but a Madhyam Bhakta. So Madhyam Bhakta is who? A Madhyam Bhakta is somebody who is practicing four things. Madhyam Bhakta is somebody who is working seriously in directing his love to Krishna. So Krishna is the object of his love and he knows who Krishna is. Then making friends with devotees. And then showing mercy to the ignorant. So Balisheshu, those who are like children or innocent or ignorant. Basically the main thing, people who don't know much, or don't know enough, or don't know something very important. And that's the whole world now, although it seems that Prabhupada has already created a huge impact on the world through his books and preaching. But still, in terms of bhakti and pure bhakti, there is still a long way for people to get more and more. So therefore, preaching is obviously a very important welfare activity. And demons, Prabhupada usually says, avoid. Another way, upeksha in Sanskrit, it means being different, being neutral towards the demons, not becoming entangled with the demons. Like also on the street, if somebody is very inimical and arguing, then Prabhupada says, don't waste your time. There are enough people who are interested. There are enough people who are interested. So go to somebody who is interested, who wants to get more. And I think it's a good system to have a Harinam. I think that's also what Indradyumna Swami does. He has a big Harinam where he distributes lots of flyers, and when devotees attended some seminar on advertisement, then a big professor from a London university, in his lecture, he was showing a video from our Ratha Yatra. And he said, that was like 20 years ago, and he was saying, look at this is a perfect advertisement, because he says nobody can ignore this, what's happening, and nobody can forget and neglect what's happening. So we may think that devotee clothes or some of these things make it more difficult, and it's possible that sometimes it's classic that we can dress in many different ways, or just like is accepted in the society nowadays. But you can also see that the society adjusts. Nowadays you can see so many people have shikha, so many people have all kinds of unusual attire, and you can see that so many companies also dress their advertising agents in some ethnic costumes or some very special costumes. And I think it's some kind of they learned from that professor that you dress people in special costumes. So of course it's not about advertisement, and it's not about techniques. It's not about, we do not want to manipulate. So book distribution and preaching is not about manipulation. It's not about attracting people to fill our temples or centers to increase our membership. That's not the purpose. So it's very important to remember. We are not. It's not about manipulating. It's not about using psychology to get people to buy books or come. And it's not about improving our membership. So it's a practice of mercy. It's a practice of compassion. It's a practice of Madhyam Bhakta. It's an attempt to help people. In the 11th canto we hear that Jiva Goswami's comment that because a Kanishta Bhakta does not respect even devotees, then how will he respect non-devotees? He doesn't even respect devotees. So because he doesn't even respect devotees, he will not respect non-devotees. So therefore he is almost useless for practical preaching purposes. So preaching is not about impressing. Preaching is not about attracting, just in a psychological, external way. It's not about manipulating. It's not about selling books, many books, collecting money, increasing membership, becoming popular, or any of these other external material things. If we focus on the main thing, that preaching is about sharing the good fortune and giving people a chance to learn more about Krishna, who is the friend of the whole universe, and giving them a chance to practice bhakti yoga, which adds meaning to life, then that's the main idea of the Madhyam Bhaktas going to help people through Harinam, Sankirtan, and through book distribution, and whatever other ways of preaching there may be. So the idea is please Krishna. You can see Krishna is happy when we help his parts and parcels on one hand, and on the other hand, towards the people, that's trying to practice mercy and compassion, trying to help people find deeper meaning in existence or add spiritual dimension to their lives. Because without it, obviously, life is empty. So we want to help people avoid the worst suffering, the material emptiness. We want to give them some spiritual dimension through preaching and giving them Srila Prabhupada's gifts. Hare Krishna.